Greetings, lovers of lore. Thank you for joining me for another installment of the Phyrexia All Will Be One lore. Today, we're going to be talking about Niali, a leader of the Miran resistance. So, a little bit of background about this character before the story actually gets going. Niali was once residing in a village that was on the sphere of Mirex. Now, Mirex is almost the topmost sphere of New Phyrexia. It has been stripped clean of almost everything. People there are barely scraping by. So Niali's village was completely wiped out, and she spent a considerable amount of time wandering around looking for anyone who might have survived. As a result of these wanderings, she actually ended up becoming the leader of a resistance cell on the Furnace Sphere. Urbrask has told the Phyrexians under his control to leave them alone. The story starts when Niali's pet firebird screeches loudly, indicating danger. Her phoenix, Othari, can sense Phyrexians and other problems, but there was no immediate danger in view, so Niali wasn't sure exactly what to be concerned about. Looking around, she did a quick inventory, a quick head count, and realized that someone was missing. Where was Rihanna? So she raced off looking for her and encounters an almost hidden passage she hadn't really noticed before. It's not long before she spots Rihanna, and she's trapped by a Phyrexian, an Oriok with golden skin that's mostly been covered over now in iron plates, and one of its arms is a gigantic scythe. Now, for some reason, Rihanna's not fighting it at all. Her weapons are laying on the ground, and she looks heartbroken. This is not normal for her. Niali and the Firebird charge in together, and the Phyrexian tries to slice the Firebird out of the air, and Niali takes advantage of the situation to smash the Phyrexian scythe arm at the wrist, raining metal down around, staggering it. But the Phyrexian continued to stare at Rihanna with a puzzlingly peaceful look on her face. This was right up until Niali ended it by throwing the Phyrexian off of a cliff. Turning to Rihanna, she said, "Are you all right?" as she checked over her body for wounds. Rihanna said, "I didn't get hurt." So Niali asked the most obvious question. "Why didn't you fight back?" Rihanna's face was pale. "That was my mother, Niali." This event had a massive impact on Rihanna. Her mother had always been so afraid of life, timid and unhappy, and the entire time Rihanna thought that her mother would be happier off if she wasn't even alive. But now she couldn't get over how peaceful her mother had seemed once she had become a Phyrexian. She confided in Niali. What if Phyrexia is right? Niali wasn't having it. "It's a false piece. That wasn't your mother. It was a husk, a puppet. She was a lure. They do it this way to break our hearts and our spirits." The two went to bed, and the next morning Rihanna was gone, but her belongings remained. The only clue left was a note. It said, "Meet me at the salvage complex." Now this was concerning. Was this a Phyrexian trap? A small part of her feared that Rihanna had left of her own free will, but that was Slobad's domain. Basically, obsolete Phyrexians were sent to him for repurposing. So Niali decided that she was going to go after Rihanna, and the most determined cell members of her crew joined her as well, with the rest heading off to take provisions and head for safety. Along the way to the salvage complex, they encountered no Phyrexian resistance whatsoever. And at every settlement that they stopped by, there was the same story. Loved ones just gone. No signs that they were taken by force. And when they arrived at the actual salvage complex, again, they weren't met with any resistance to start with. They did find caged Mirans looking defeated, slumped, and waiting for completion. Niali gave the assembled cell members with her a chance to leave, but they declined. They headed further into the salvage complex, and they found Rihanna. She was shackled and surrounded by a sea of corpses. Niali and 3 other cell members split off from the main force and went to Rihanna. Niali knelt down beside her, and Rihanna looked up at her weakly. "I'm sorry, I was just so exhausted." Niali hushed her, and Rihanna said, "I'm sorry again." But now as she said it, the magical chains that were binding her moved up onto Niali's body instead. Niali spat at her. "What did they promise you?" Rihanna screamed back, "Peace! Slobad promised me perfect peace and to be with my loved ones." And at that moment, a third voice came in. "And you will be." It was the voice of Slobad. He was a horror. His goblin body had both arms and legs cut off, and then he was fused and soldered into a giant golem body. He continued to speak. "Here we are safe. Here we are family. The Mirrans look to you to lead them. Will you not guide them to their loved ones?" He looked Niali square in the eyes. "A choice. You 4, and I'll let the others go." Niali was unsure. "Why should I trust you? You'll just take the rest anyways." Slobad said, "I only want to help." Niali responded back, "Let these 3 go and take me then." "Done," said Slobad. The other 3 protested, but ultimately they were not able to sway Niali. Niali was hung up in a cage high in the air with a view of Rihanna's conversion. She was knelt down as Slobad reverently started the procedure. But abruptly, Niali's Firebird arrived, and despite her protestations, it wouldn't abandon her. Instead, it incinerated the cage bars. So Niali leapt down while Othari the Firebird freed the other prisoners from their cages. Alarms ringed out, and Niali made one more attempt to find Rihanna, and when she did, she held her hand out to her, but Rihanna just turned her back to Niali. So sadly, gathering up the rest of her cell, Niali took them and fled back to their safe house. All right, my friends, that ends this installment of the Phyrexia All Will Be One lore. Thanks for coming by. If you enjoy what's going on here, you can support the channel by joining the channel membership or the Patreon. I will see you all for the next episode. A big thank you to the channel's patrons. And remember, my friends, lore is life. The story starts with Niali's pet Firebird, damn it. The story starts with Niali's pet Firebird, damn it. This event ended up having a massive impact on Rihanna. Rihanna.